Hello, guys. Welcome to Reddit Uncovered. Hope you all are good, and before we jump to today's stories, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below. Also, let me know in the comments on which stories you guys want me to work, and the next video will be on that. Let's get started. Okay, guys, here's the first story of the day, and the title says, Am I the asshole for refusing to give my parents a fixed portion of my salary, even though they expect it? I grew up in a pretty average Indian household. Nothing fancy, but not struggling either. From early on, I handled my education mostly on my own, worked for scholarships, focused on academics, figured things out without asking them for much financial help. Now I've got a stable job in another city, and I'm finally at a place where I can breathe a bit financially. Here's the issue. Recently, my parents started expecting me to send them a fixed portion of my salary every month. Not like occasional help or anything, they literally framed it as my responsibility. The thing is, my dad earns a decent amount. They have multiple properties, savings, gold, all that. They're not dependent on me to survive. I told them I'm not comfortable committing to sending money regularly. I said I'd help if there's an actual need or emergency, but I don't want this to become an obligation. They didn't take it well. Now, every phone call somehow turns into a money conversation. Comments like, this is what children are supposed to do, or we didn't raise you to be selfish. It's getting exhausting and honestly making me avoid talking to them. I've even started feeling guilty, like maybe I'm being too harsh or ungrateful, especially because I know this is pretty common in a lot of Indian families. But at the same time, it feels wrong to be pressured into giving money when they're financially secure themselves. So yeah, am I the asshole for refusing to give them a fixed part of my salary and not sending any money at all? Well, after reading the whole scenario, I don't think you're the asshole. I mean, I get the part that it's a part of your responsibility to support your parents, but as long as they have enough already to fulfill their needs, they should let you save up for your future from your salary. But instead, they are trying to guilt trip you, which is totally wrong. So, nope, you're not the asshole. That's my take on this one, but you guys can also drop your opinions in the comment section below, and I'll move to the next one. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This is the second story of the day, and the title says, Am I the asshole for not removing my doormat because it scares my neighbor's kid? My wife and I, both 32, have been living at our apartment for 4 years and are both huge horror fans. We have had an Art the Clown doormat from Spirit Halloween for 2 years now. It's not a Halloween decoration, it's just what we like. Last month, around the beginning of April, we had some neighbors move in across from us. They have two kids, one is a baby, and one is maybe 3 to 4 years old. The first time we met them was a couple days after they moved in. We were all bringing in groceries, and I introduced myself, shook hands, all of that. The dad says, Still Halloween, huh? And I just laughed it off. Since then, we've come home 4 times to them flipping our doormat, and we know it's them because we have a Ring camera. We were fine letting them do it and just flipping it back until a couple days ago when we caught them doing it in person. We asked what the issue was, and apparently their son is super afraid of it, even though the kid was right there and was acting completely fine. Not crying, not anything. The only one that seemed agitated at all was the mom, who swore at us and rolled her eyes and was just generally unpleasant. Haven't interacted with her much before or since. My wife waited until they were inside and flipped it back over. I stayed out with the dad and talked it over, and he seemed fine. He said he understood it was our space, and he'd talk it over with his wife, and that his son was old enough to understand it couldn't hurt him. This morning, we walked out and saw our doormat wasn't even flipped over. It was thrown outside of the stairwell. We live on the 4th floor, so it was a very deliberate thing. My wife wants to report it to management, but I'm just about tired enough of this. I kind of want to throw it away, but I also want to keep it. I don't know. I'm just confused, y'all. Not the asshole straight away. I bet it has nothing to do with the kid, but his mother, and throwing it away is so off and such a stupid act. I stand with your wife. You both should talk to the management as it can escalate to something else tomorrow. So it's better to take step today and stop it where it is. It is your space, your doormat, your choice. They can ask you to change it or something, but they can't just throw it away. That's a straight no from my side. I'll move to the next story, and you can share your opinions in the comment section. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that my money isn't our money? I've been dating my GF for over 2 years. I earn $95,000 working in corporate finance, and she's a final year law student working part time, earning around $40,000, I think. I'm not a baller, obviously, but I live with my parents and have minimal expenses, live frugally, so I save a big chunk of my income. She, on the other hand, is really bad with money. She doesn't piss it away on drugs or gambling and stuff, but she'll buy expensive gifts for her friends or me. She'll treat people a lot to food, drinks, Ubers, and stuff. That's all nice things to do, obviously, within reason. You have to think about yourself and your own finances too. She's a very giving and selfless person and has this, it's just money, I'll make more, it's all about the memories attitude, but you need money. You have to be smart and responsible with it, which I've told her, but she seems to think I'm just being cheap and not living in the moment. She says dumb things like, what good is your stock portfolio slash savings if you die tomorrow, etc. She was complaining yesterday about how she barely has any savings, and I was like, no shit. Of course you don't have any savings. How would you? You're literally spending every dollar you get. How would anyone save doing that? Then she said, well, it's not the end of the world if I run out because you've got some, right? I don't want to use your money, but if I don't have any, you've got enough for the both of us, don't you? I said, whoa, okay, I don't have money for us. I have money for me. Granted, I'll spend my money on you, like I'll pick up every 2 or 3 dinners for everyone that you get. I'll buy us more snacks and pay for more dates, etc. Because I earn more, I'll pay more proportionally, but this isn't our money. It's my money, and you can't expect to basically use my money because you can't handle your own money. I told her that financial incompatibility is the biggest reason for divorce, and currently, we are financially incompatible, and this needs to be fixed if we want to have a good relationship. I'm very good with my money, but I'm not cheap. I spend it and have fun, but do it in a smart way that doesn't leave me broke. You need to start being smart with your money and stop seeing my money as yours. She got really mad and started calling me a selfish asshole and all this nonsense, but I'm just speaking facts here. If she views my money as also hers, that is basically going to enable her to continue pissing her money away and rely on me to be her personal ATM. Okay, in my opinion, I don't think you are the asshole, but you are pretty smart and sensible with your spendings, which I appreciate, and yup, your girlfriend needs to understand how to spend money wisely. Like, dude, even in the state of emergency during a flight, the crew tells you to own your oxygen mask first and then help the other. The same thing applies here as well. I am not against spending on gifts, etc., or treating people nicely, but you got to save for yourself first, or at least for the case of emergency, despite the fact who earns how much, but everyone should have some savings for the bad time because it's always just a matter of one bad moment. I've seen people's lives turning upside down with just one hit. I guess you should talk to her once more politely and tell that she needs to understand this and save for herself too. Rest I leave up to you guys. You can share your opinions too, and I'll move to the next one. Am I the asshole for giving my niece a much better life than her step-siblings? I, 40F, have been very lucky and joined a tech startup very early that turned out to be a unicorn, greater than 1 billion valuation. It was sold several years ago, and while I'm no billionaire, it's allowed me to live a very comfortable life. I have a small, close-knit family, and I'm happy to share with my good fortune with them. I have an older brother, Isaac, 50M, who has a daughter, Grace, 14F, with an ex-partner. Grace lives most of the time with her mom, Rebecca, but spends the weekends and half of the summer with her dad. I'm especially close with Grace since I only have sons, and they love their cousin and vice versa. Grace would frequently babysit and be a mother's helper, make bottles, burp the baby, help in the kitchen, etc. when she was younger. Even before my startup's acquisition, my husband and I made enough that we paid for her private school, $60,000 a year, and would take her on trips to Disneyland and vacations with us, usually skiing in the spring, and then a couple of weeks in Mexico/Hawaii in the summer. But when our lifestyle upgraded, so did hers. We set up a trust fund for her, enough for college/masters/PhD and a down payment on a house in the Bay. We bought vacation homes and took several international vacations a year on business class. Her parents have been nothing but supportive and very grateful. Now, the problem is around 5 years ago, Rebecca met George, who had 2 kids who he has 50-50 custody of, Caroline, F16, and Christian, M13. Both Rebecca and George work as servers and have a hard time making ends meet. They recently got married and moved in together, and Caroline and George are starting to get upset and jealous that their stepsister lives such a better life. They go to public school, go to Disney once a year if they are lucky, and maybe a trip to Vegas or to visit their grandma in Florida in the summer. This upset George and has led to fights with Rebecca. The kids are fighting too. Rebecca brought this up to me, hesitantly, but she said that she promised George she'd at least ask me to at least pay for private school to keep things even and try to make things even between the kids with gifts and trips. Rebecca is on my side and said she knows it's not my responsibility at all, but she promised George she'd at least talk to me. And he said I'd be pretty cold/jerk, though I think he used stronger language knowing him, to treat siblings so differently. But my husband and I disagree. I barely know those kids. Am I the asshole? Well, in my opinion, no, you're not the asshole. First and very clear reason is that the Grace is your brother's daughter. And obviously, you'll be close to her. And the way you spend on her is out of love. Now, coming to the second point, which is her step siblings. You have no real bond with them. And for that reason, their parents should understand that too, that you can't treat their kids as the way you treat Grace. Taking them to vacations or private schools is a part of their parents' responsibility, not yours, and they need to understand that. That's what I think, but you guys can also share your opinions in the comment section below. As you know, it's always open for you. All right, guys, this is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit the like and subscribe button below. It really means a lot to me. Also, feel free to share your opinions in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.